This Soil Slopes and Streams series lecture will look at the links between chemical weathering and plant ecosystems in Yellowstone National Park. In this case study of Yellowstone, we're going to highlight strong relationships between the geology underfoot, chemical weathering of bedrock and soils, and the ecology at the surface. To first understand how these relationships are expressed, you need to know a little bit about the unique setting of Yellowstone. Probably most of you have heard of Yellowstone National Park, and if you've not visited in person, you probably know of its colorful hot springs, bellowing geysers, and wildlife. It's located in the western United States in Wyoming and Montana. And if you were to visit Yellowstone a couple of millions of years ago, it wouldn't have existed. Yellowstone's made from a massive underground volcano, or a supervolcano. This supervolcano was formed from a hot spot, which is a plume of hot magma rising from the mantle. And as the hot spot extends up, as this plume rises, it heats and weakens the overlying crust. It causes earthquakes, volcanic explosions, and lava flows at the surface. Because of its unique geology, different eruptions result in different types of lava rock. Each rock has a different combination of minerals, and each of these minerals are made of different amounts of different elements, including nutrients such as calcium, magnesium, iron, and phosphorus. And this can result in some really interesting things at the surface as those rocks are weathered. Here's a map of the bedrock of Yellowstone Park. Each color represents a different type of rock, and while yellow is made up mostly of sediments, these are primarily deposited by glaciers and rivers, the remainders of these colors are each a different type of bedrock exposed at the surface, mostly by different eruptions, some of which are poor in nutrients and some are rich in nutrients. Chemical weathering disaggregates these rocks, it chemically dissolves minerals, and it helps to release what rock-derived nutrients are available to the soils and waters. This variability in the nutrients that plants crave and depend on results in very different vegetative communities across the Yellowstone ecosystem. Lodgepole pines, such as what we see here, are adapted to soils developed on the rhyolite plateaus. These rocks, along with the tuffs or previous ash flows, are rich in quartz. They have little nutrient value. The soils thus are nutrient poor. They don't hold water well. And this results in what appears to be a monoculture of trees that are uniquely suited to coarse, shallow, and moisture-poor soils established in such settings. By contrast, fir and spruce forests are found on soils developed from andesitic volcanic rock. This rock has less quartz and more minerals that are rich in nutrients that are released during chemical weathering. These more fertile soils hold water better, and this means that vegetation can grow, and thus soils also have more organic matter. The resulting ecological system is more diverse. These relationships play out across the park, such that the plant communities, or the image on the left, that incorporate different species and associated understory vegetation correlate with bedrock. For example, the lodgepole pine forests in green are seen here at a landscape level to correspond to the pink and orange bedrock seen on the right-hand image. This pink and orange bedrock colors, these correspond to rhyolite and tuff. By comparison, look at the purple, yellow, and white areas in the vegetation map at left. These are Douglas fir forests, whitebark pines, and grassland and sagebrush meadows. These correspond to bedrock lithologies that curve along the outer right-hand side of the bedrock map. These lithologies are primarily more nutrient-rich basalts and andesites. Yellowstone's not unique for its relationship between bedrock weathering and ecology, although it's a spectacular place to view these relationships clearly. Think about the landscapes in your backyard or region. If you were to dig a hole through soils, what kind of weathering environment do you think you might find? Can you imagine other geologic controls on the soils you find underfoot or the plants at the surface?